When the enemy is blocking you, you have to. Hi, I'm Tanya, and this is Masculine to Soft. Sometimes you get that nudge that God is instructing you to do something, and suddenly everything starts to go wrong. Yes, I'm living that right now. I finally decided to step out on faith and start my YouTube channel. I was excited. I have ideas. I have them written down. I started. Of course, just about everyone has thought about starting a YouTube channel. We all are talented in one way or another, right? But I was like, I never wanted to start a YouTube channel. I enjoy watching people on YouTube. Everything from van life to tiny homes to the dogs and the cats. I love them all. But that wasn't my jam. I'm like, I'm okay being behind the scenes and watching everyone else live their life on YouTube. I'm okay. But I had that nudge. God was nudging me. And I'm like, God, is that? So finally, I listened. I said, okay, I'm here. So I'm motivated. I'm ready. Like I said, I have ideas. I'm about this life right now. I would never get in front of the camera. That was not my life. All of a sudden, everything started going wrong. My computer stopped working. I had it plugged in, and I have an Apple computer. So an Apple computer, the one I have, the Pro, has a little light on the charger to let you know it is charging. For some reason, it would not turn on. I had it plugged in a wall. I'm checking the outlets. I said, okay, maybe this outlet is just bad right now because I've only lived in this one place for 2 months. And right now I'm traveling, so I'm not at home. Hope you don't hear the kids in the hallway. And so my outlet wasn't working. I said, oh man, okay, well. So I took it out and started trying all the outlets. Ironically, it started working in the bathroom. I was like, well, maybe this has a strong charge. I don't know. Like I said, it's only been 2 months I've been in this place. So I plug it in and let the computer charge. Fine. Give it a whole day just in case it goes out again. I don't know. Just let the whole thing charge. I let the computer charge. And so the next day I was busy. So it was a weekend. So let's say a Monday, I'm busy. I get on the computer, do some other things, And by this time, my battery has gone down. Even though the battery does last a while, but I had to use the computer and then I let it sit open for a while. So things just is kind of haywire. Fine. So I'm trying to plug it in again. I said, well, it wouldn't work. It would not work in the outlet. So of course you said, well, let's troubleshoot. So I started plugging in other things. It worked. I said, okay, maybe it's my cord. But I put it back in the bathroom. It didn't work. I said, okay, it must be my cord. I'm like, okay, I'm so ready. Like I said, I have my ideas. I'm excited. I'm motivated. I'm on it. So I go to Apple. And it's like an hour and a half. It is packed. It is packed. Of course, Apple. And so it was like a weekend. And so I get the cord. We troubleshoot. They have outlets, they have cords and everything, but then I couldn't check my box. I didn't know if it was the box or the cord. So the guy was nice enough to pull out a box and so I can use it, try my cord in my box. So figured out it was just a cord. I had to buy a $50 cord. $50, just the cord, not the box, just the cord. Fine, buy it. Because the cord I had prior was an Amazon knockoff cord, which it was weird. Even though my laptop was fairly new, my dogs chewed my original cord. So I barely had my original cord for 2 months because my dog chewed it. So I had a knockoff cord. And then now I have an original cord again. They're better, so we don't have to worry about that. Great. Got my cord, get my computer home, plug it in, charging. Perfect. We're almost ready to go. So of course, my battery is completely dead. So I had to let my computer charge. So say this was a Sunday. So I waited the next day, Monday, that I had to go to work. I had running around to do. So I was like, okay, this is on my heart. I need to record. When God tells you to move, you move. Tuesday I had professional development and work. So I was like, well, I go to work Tuesday. Okay, I'll do it Wednesday. So at work, I started to feel some sniffles, but I thought maybe it was just the air conditioning in the building. I said, okay, no big deal. Wednesday, I wake up, full-blown sick. I'm like, I'm sick, can't talk, my voice is raspy. I'm still a little raspy because all this is kind of happening within a week. And today is Sunday. So this past Wednesday, I wake up and I have a sore throat, I'm coughing, I'm raspy. So I'm like, oh my goodness. And then, you're tired because you're sick. On top of that, I'm supposed to start traveling. Goal was to drive 5 hours from my home to go visit my mom. So I'm already sick. I'm tired. I'm not recording. Got to keep going. Got to push through. So I get in the car. I was like, you know what? I wasn't going to go. My friend convinced me. Just go and you'll be there, be sick, and recoup there. You know what? I did that. So I got in the car the next morning, got up, drove where I had to go, got there sick. So I didn't see my mother the first day because I was like, I need to rest. Then I was just too tired. This cold is, first my voice is already gone. I can barely talk. I was hoarse and raspy. I'm drinking tea, taking lozenges, taking echinacea, all kind of stuff just to get me back right. To the point I called my mom. My mom was like, no, my mother called me and she said, oh, can I speak to Tanya? And I said, this is me. And she said, oh, you sound like a man. That's how bad I sound. So I was like, okay, of course, I'm not recording because my voice is not here, even though it's still a little raspy now, but it's better than it was before. Adversary will come in and block whatever he can to avoid you getting God's message out. When you have a mission, you have to stay the course. Things are going to happen. And that's what this message is all about. Things will happen. Now, I'm not saying every inconvenience is spiritual warfare. No. Sometimes computers break. We get sick, right? These things happen. We simply need to rest. I needed to rest. But what I am saying, whenever we decide to move forward, when God gives us a message, the adversary will throw up some obstacles. And sometimes you begin to question, was that God? Did you really want me to do that? Or was it just me? Or is it my own will that's pushing me through to want me to do this? The first point I want to make is don't confuse resistance with a stop sign. Push through. If you know when God puts something on your heart, you know when God is like, go do this, because it sits in your spirit for a long time and it won't go away. It's this nagging. I wouldn't say nagging. It's this, what is the word I'm looking for? It's this nudge, I don't know. It's just something just won't go away until you accomplish, because God's like, okay, I told you to do this. And you're going to question like, God, is that you? No, it's just me. Because there's, if it's not part of who you are, there will be some resistance. So you want to make sure, God, is that you? I don't want to just step out here and doing it my way. And it's not you. And that's where I am in life right now. I want to make sure I'm following behind God. My thoughts process, as God walks, I'm right on his heels. I'm like, okay, you're leading and I'm behind you. So if you go, I go. Just because you think sometimes things get hard and God is not telling you to move forward, push through. Resistance could actually confirm that you're moving in the right direction. So every time I faced another setback, I had to remind myself why I started. And this particularly, why I'm starting this. I'm starting this to uplift, to motivate, to encourage someone that feels unseen. Because at one point in life, somewhere, somehow, we have felt unseen. Doesn't matter who you are, if you're on the highest peak or the lowest low. There's been a time that you felt unseen. I know I have. I know I have. And I know I'm not alone. So I had to remind myself, God does not call us to be perfect. He didn't call me to be perfect, right? This will not be a perfect video. I'm traveling. There are kids in the background. I have my laptop propped on my little basket. I'm sitting in a chair. So it won't be perfect, but I'm getting it done. I am being obedient, and that is the key. When God calls you, you be obedient. You heed to the sound, to that feeling, the Holy Spirit. Be obedient, because there is a blessing on the other side of your obedience. So don't fret. James 1:12 says, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him." So what I got from that is, if you remain faithful and steadfast during times of suffering or temptation, you will be blessed. You will be blessed, right? And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for my blessing on the other side. So stay steadfast. Tough times are going to come and go. Suffering is going to come and go. But there's a blessing on the other side. Rest without quitting. One thing I've learned is exhaustion will make you question those things, because your body's tired. When your body's tired, your executive functions aren't working 110%. And you're exhausted. Things come up, things happen. Sometimes your body needs you to just rest. And that is okay. Because when you're tired or discouraged or you're sick, it is easy to think, maybe I should just quit. Maybe I should just quit or do it later. Sometimes the answer isn't to quit. Sometimes the answer is just to simply rest. God will never put more on us than we can carry. So rest is not failure. Sometimes rest is preparation for what's coming, or preparation for what you need to get accomplished later. Remember what God already brought you through. When I look back over my life, I can see God's hands on many things that I've gone through or that I've done or seen, that I think, like, how did I make it through that? Well, from my computer going out to being sick, we're going to get this done. That's it and that's all. Okay. So, point 3, remember what God already brought you through. When I look back over my life, and just over the last 6 months, it is June now. And in January, I was depressed. I was lost. I was a hot mess. I mumbled words. If I didn't wake up, it would be okay. I've never mumbled those words. I was in a very, very dark place. That's when I started to look up. I started to see God. I'm like, there has to be more, because this is not who I am. And it took a while, but God brought me through. And one day I was cleaning and sweeping the floor, something, whatever I was doing. And I was like, I'm at peace. Things had to change. A lot of shifting happened in my life. But in a moment, I was like, I'm at peace. And that's exactly what I needed. And that's exactly what I was asking God for. Please, I just want to be at peace. I want to feel okay. I want to feel good again. And I was missing that, and I needed that. So if I just a little bit of me thinking back how I felt 6 months ago, where I was 6 months ago, where God has brought me from, whatever he says, let's go. He says, pack up and move. Where's my suitcase? Do I need a U-Haul? What do I got to do? He says, start a YouTube channel. I'm on it. Whatever it is. I know where I come from. And I know where the dark place I was in. So if God is leading, I'm falling behind. That's it and that's all. So we don't quit. Sometimes you have to reset, rest and reset, and keep pushing through. Okay? I know there are situations that should have taken me out. Doors that I walked through that I shouldn't have walked through, that were set up to destroy me. Decisions that should have taken me down a different path. Some of them did, but God. But God, I was protected, even though I didn't know I was protected. I was protected because I believe I'm chosen. I believe I am chosen. So if He brought me through all of that, and I've been through some things, surely He can get you from wherever you are, broken, hurt, sad, misplaced, sick. He can bring you back. Okay? He brought me from a broken computer to being sick, traveling on the road. And right now we know gas prices are extreme. We know that He can bring us through. If you ask, obey, and listen and give God your yes, there's nothing God can't do. Isaiah 41:10 says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand." What I get from that is, this is divine presence and strength and protection in times of fear and anxiety. Whatever the outcome may be, God is still with you. God is still with us. Even though sometimes it doesn't feel like it, I know, but He's always there. So my final word today is, maybe you're watching this and you experience resistance too. I've experienced resistance, not just recently, but in the past. I've experienced resistance. This computer looks crooked, but and it said it's sitting on a basket. But we pushing through. Maybe your obstacle isn't your computer core, or you're being sick. Maybe it's fear, finances, doubt. Whatever it is, don't give up. Take a breath. Get some rest. Pray. Trust He will answer you and keep moving forward, because sometimes the biggest breakthrough comes right after the biggest resistance. The enemy will always try to block you from your blessing, but your job is to push through and give God your yes.